Hi, I'm Lois and welcome to Morco Studios, and today we're making the MIKI knot bags. These bags come in 3 sizes, small, medium and large. You can find all of the supplies, cut-in templates and a detailed step-by-step written tutorial with colour photographs on how to make these pouches in the pattern. I will put a link to purchase the pattern in the description box below the video. In this video, I will be making the small MIKI knot bag. Using the templates provided in the pattern, cut out the pattern pieces in your chosen fabrics and apply interfacing to the wrong sides of both main body A exterior pieces. Use the Molko paper pattern to transfer the 2 red marks located just underneath each of the straps onto both sides of the exterior pieces and the lining pieces using a vanishing marker or chalk. The space below these red marks represents the base of the bag. Lay both exterior pieces on the table so that the right sides of the fabrics are touching each other. Align all the edges, then pin together just the base of the bag, so from red mark to red mark. Then lay both lining pieces on the table so that the right sides of the fabrics are touching each other. Again, align all the edges, then pin together just the base of the bag. Sew around the base of the bag, from red mark to red mark, on both the exterior and lining bags. Make sure to backstitch at the start and end of your line of stitch to ensure the seams do not come open. Next, pin across the top of both handles on both the lining bags and exterior bags. Sew across the top edge of both sets of handles. Make sure to backstitch at the start and end of your line of stitch to ensure the seams do not come open. Once sewn, clip small notches around the curved base of both bags. This helps the bag lay flat and look neater when it's finished. Be really careful not to accidentally snip through your stitches. I make my clippings roughly 1.2 centimetres or half an inch apart. Here is a close-up view of the clipped notches. Press the handle seams open and flatten them really well with a hot iron on both bags. Now take the lining bag and turn it right sides out so that the seams are on the inside. And insert it into the opening of the exterior bag, which will still be wrong side out, with the seams on the outside. Concentrating on the inner curve of the handles, only align all of the fabric edges and pin together. When pinning, pay extra attention to the seams at the top of the handles. You want these to match up perfectly. You will find this step much easier now that the handle seams have been pressed open. Sew all the way around the inner curve of the handles. You will find this step easier if you sew from the inside of the bag onto the lining, as this side will lay much flatter. Next, clip small notches around the inner curve of the handles. Again, be really careful not to accidentally snip through your stitches. Reach into the open gap in the largest handle and turn the bag right side out. Roughly poke out the curves with your fingers. Using a pointy tool, insert it into the handle gap and carefully run the tool along all the curved edges to smooth them out as best you can. It's best to do this step little by little so you don't accidentally poke a hole through your bag. Align the seams of the exterior and lining fabrics of the inner curve of the handles. Press these seams with an iron so they are nice and flat. I like to turn my bag inside out so that the neater side of the stitches would be on the exterior side. Top stitch around the inner curve of the handles. I like to use a stitch length of 3.5 for this, as it gives the bag a lovely finish. Now to close the open gaps in the handles. Starting with the top of each handle, fold the raw edges inside the bag by 0.6 centimetre or 1/4 of an inch to match the rest of the sewn seam allowances and align the handle seams. Use an iron to flatten the folds if it helps. Pin these handle seams together first. Then carry on folding the raw edges inside the bag by 0.6 centimetre or 1/4 of an inch and pinning the folds together all the way around both handles. Again, use an iron to flatten the folds if it helps. The shorter handle will be much trickier as there will be less room, so start with the larger handle. Here is how my large handle seams look once pinned together. Top stitch the handle seams closed using a 0.5 centimetre or 3/16 of an inch allowance away from the edge. Again, I'm using a stitch length of 3.5. A trick to get a neat 0.5 centimetre or 3/16 of an inch seam allowance is to change needle position to far right, then use the edge of your standard sewing foot as a guide by keeping it in line with the edge handle. Again, you will find this step easier if you sew from the inside of the bag, as this side will lay much flatter. I turn my bag inside out so that neater side of the stitches would be on the exterior side. When you reach the base of the handles, pivot the bag 90 degrees, sew across a few stitches, then pivot again and sew the other side of the handle. Finally, give the bag one last press with an iron to flatten all of your curves and edges. To knot the bag closed, simply insert the larger handle through the smaller handle and pull it through. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial and you are proud of your new bag. If you appreciate this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. To purchase the paper templates used in this tutorial, please follow the link in the description box below the video. The PDF pattern also includes a supplies list and a detailed step-by-step written tutorial with colour photographs. Your purchase helps support my business so I can keep creating more tutorials like this one. To see what other sewing tutorials and patterns I have on offer, head over to molko.co.uk.